Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists and healthcare centres. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, July 1st, 2021. This is the 387th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department. And this is part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be a host today. And we're joined, of course, with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I believe he's more than willing and ready to begin today's workshop. So hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual, whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers of the Keshe Foundation. There is a point we have to remind you that for this week and maybe next week or two, the Keshe Foundation TV will not be live, as we have had problem in past week, 10 days with it. This is due to the fact that due to heavy storms in this area, many masks have been damaged by hailstones. And what we call the suppliers have a problem with their masks and they have brought many down. So we record as usual on YouTube and a webinar and Zoom, and then it'll be transferred to the TV channel afterwards. The telecom communication companies, they tell us it'll take at least 2 weeks to repair the damages. The extent of damage has been very bad. And many cars, hundreds of thousands of cars have been damaged beyond repair, some. And so it's part of where we are. And as we've been told, we're in that situation. Even some of our colleagues in Keshe Foundation have been through this with their cars. That has become inoperable. In any case, we started teaching today as part of the Keshe Foundation teaching. And we go back to our mainly what is happening around the Keshe Foundation and the teaching. As we saw the intro with the enhancement unit, the Keshe Foundation new exhibition center, permanent maybe for years, is taking shape. And from sometime next week, those of you who were interested to place an order, we've been keeping back serious more or less since last October due to the problems with Corona and the rest of it. We'll invite you to come in anytime from 8th, 10th of this month, most probably. And we'll keep these sessions close to individuals invited. And sometime around about 4th, 5th of August, the exhibition center of the Keshe Foundation with what we call the auditorium and the television recording center will be open to public. We have an auditorium facility of about 100 seats, and the Keshe Television Center will be set up properly as a permanent place, and we'll see how it grows. But the exhibition of the latest technology of the Keshe Foundation is more or less ready. The enhancement units have been placed in position, and the decorating and what we call setting up of the exhibition has already more or less taken shape. We will be ready next week, 10 days. And as many of you wanted to come and see, this will be done only to the organizations who reported that they want to see the units. And it'll be by invitation only. We do not let anyone in. If you haven't received the invitation from the Keshe Foundation, that it's pre-arranged. But from first, second week of August, it'll be open to public. But still we need to know who's coming in by what we call booking in advance, because the auditorium and the TV program could be going on and is part of one integrated center. We thank those in this area who are calling the landlords and putting many good comments in. It supported us a lot and it brought a lot of solidarity in helping to set the center up. It is nice to see so much support, and at the same time we do our best to deliver what is being said there as what we call a prestigious exhibition center befitted by such a technology. The beauty of it is that it's very near the airport, is accessible by train, by everything else. And literally, it's where it should be as a permanent position. We have a private, what we call a large number of car parks and everything else available. And in the same center, you will see the establishment of one of the largest factories and production lines of the Keshe Foundation, hopefully in the next few months. As we said before, the organization of the Keshe Foundation taking shape internationally, and we will see how things take shape in other countries. I will report to you as more or less as it happens. But the Keshe Foundation exhibition center is open, and our production of the enhancement units now, the Chinese offices are taking shape as well for the assembly and production. Within next month, we should start seeing in the next 2 months maximum all the productions and what we call the assembly of the Keshe Foundation enhancement units, shipping and deliveries around the world. Corona has been a hiccup of a long term for all of us, and hopefully many of us will see what we call the beginning of many, many changes. We are still active in many fronts, and we deliberately put certain notes out because many of you are sincere. We put notes out for those who we know are what we call troubleshooters to start getting them busy where we want them to be busy while we are doing other things. In any case, keep yourselves busy. We give you a lot of leads that it takes you to exactly where we want you to be, because we have a purpose for that. Especially when you make telephone calls and make recommendations, it's good for us to know. In reality, the Keshe Foundation, what we call technologies, is gradually breaking through, and we'll see more and more developments, more and more new products, and what we call more supports in different dimensions and directions. The teaching of the Keshe Foundation in the past few weeks has been concentrated on what we call the understanding of the work of the souls of the system, which is the control system, the power unit of the system, the what we call interaction of the system, what we call the plasma of the soul of the man, the plasma of the creation of the emotion of the man, the plasma of the what we call physicality of the man, the soul of physicality of the man. You got to realize what we have taught in past few weeks, it can be replicated with systems. In so many ways, we can replicate many things. From what we understand now, we can replicate emotion of the man in the dimension of the plasma, which reacts and interacts very much like a body of the man. That how we learn these things, it comes to understand the truth about exactly what we have taught in the past years. There is no difference. The soul of the man is the sun. The soul of the physicality is the earth. The interaction between the fields of the two entities, one being stronger and one slightly weaker, creates, as we see in the upper atmospheres of this planet, the plasma of the hydrogen, the plasma of oxygen, the plasma of gold. In the interaction of the fields of the body of the man, as they are in essence in the dimension of the soul of the plasma, they create plasmatic sections like joy, happiness, recognition, knowledge. So there is no difference in the process of the creation. In a way, instead of having a planetary system like Earth fixed in a position, rotating around the sun, now the sun has kept its place, but the system, instead of rotating as an entity like a spherical object like Earth, it rotates in the blood flow of the man, in the smaller information, emotion, and everything else. And in that process, creates a continuous flow of miniature earth conditions that, in interaction with the fields of the soul of the man, creates what we call those hydrogens, those carbons, those CO2s, and the gold, which we call different emotions. So the knowledge of the man about the creation of his life is very simple. The distance between the sun and earth is covered by a huge gap. That some of the fields of the sun, by radiating out, by the time they reach earth, lose some of their strength, or at given the strength reach this, what we call the upper atmosphere of the earth. Then in interaction with the fields of the earth, gravitational magnetical, they create these packages of plasmons of the matter state, but in plasma state. But in what we call the dimension of physicality, when these plasmons come in touch with the inertia of the what we call the earth, they convert into matter state. But as the flow of the fields in the blood of the man is in dynamic condition, and then in their interaction with the field of the plasma in the brain of the man, they create emotion. But at the same time, this blood flows to a given position, as we said from the beginning of the teaching. Every cell in the blood of the man is taxi designated destination. It only goes to one place according to the field strength. So when it takes the emotion with it, it goes to where it's supposed to feed, its common denominator cell. And in releasing that field, it transfers the emotion of the man, which is created in the interaction of the physicality and other emotions from different cells of the body of the man and the soul of the man to that part. So in a way, we even understand how now for the first time, our emotion through interaction between the soul of physicality and the soul of the man in radiating its fields, one way hits the blood circulation of the cell which brought the information, and on the other hand, it feels the spreading out through the body of the man, hits the body of the man in a different strength field from the sun itself, and creates a condition that is being carried by the blood. So in a way, the inertia is created by the interaction of the fields. But because the inertia is plasmatic in both cases, does not become a solid state, but it becomes a plasmatic state of the cell of the man. This gives the man a new opportunity. But the whole essence of this matter is to be created is that heartbeat, is a natural heartbeat which the blood itself makes by transferring some of its energy in the heart of the man. In so many ways, every cell carries a number of functions, not only bringing the information, not only bringing the emotion, not only creating the magnetic field to contain the soul of the man, not only carries the charges which leads to transfer of the energy to the heart, create a combination of what we call rhythmic, continuous heartbeat. This heartbeat cannot be introduced in any other shape but by the blood flow itself. It's the one which carries the charges. And in so many ways, the combination of the heartbeat is controlled by what we call the amount of the energy through the air, through breathing. And anybody can change, confirm, transfer, and recharge the cells and the walls of the heart. In so many ways, if we manage to create a correct heartbeat in a continuation of the flow of the blood through the lung itself, we can take the heart out of the circulation. We have seen this with many animals. We can take the heart out and the body will replicate the work and create the heart. We've seen this in the fish. We have seen in a couple of other animals that we can take the organs out, but the organ is replicated and made. This is the knowledge which man needs to learn. This is not the way that it works through what we call the DNA and cloning of the parts. This is the way the cloning of the body of the man is made, or any other animal. This goes back again to, without understanding of the emotion, you cannot create the replication of the heart. Without understanding the creation of the plasma of the emotion in interaction with the work of the lung, the air intake, you cannot replicate the creation of the heart. This is why when our breathing changes, our heartbeat changes. When our emotion changes, our breathing changes and our heartbeat changes. Now we understand more. Now we understand the truth about our own creation. This is not, as we've seen, many claim that they can replicate the making of a heart. Theoretically, yes, you can. Show us practically. It's impossibilities. In so many ways, they have claims that they can make organs within the body. We've seen some of the knowledge seekers who left, we've been taught by Keshe Foundation, have made these claims in systems they're trying to copy, but none have been delivered. In a way, because they never understood the truth about the creation, as we explained in the past few minutes. In so many ways, in the new enhancement unit, which will be delivered by the Keshe Foundation, all this has been taken in position. In a way, you can take the heart of the man from the body of the man and let the body of the man to create a new heart on its own. There is no need for what we call heart transplant. There is no need to take a heart from another person. Once you understand the process, you can even allow the heart in so many ways to replicate its work. We have shown this in an effective way in past few weeks with a few of the knowledge seekers randomly who had these kind of problems. In so many ways, mankind has reached a point of maturity that understand the totality. In so many ways, do we need to worry how we look and what we lose in the space? Do we worry that how every cell of our body will replicate across the universe according to time, place and position, and at the same time to inertial mass of the fields of the plasma of the cell? In the coming time, knowledge of the knowledge seekers will reach a point that even by through the thoughts, they can replicate, they can repair every organ within their body. Mankind has had such a knowledge for a long time, but as it took more the dimension of physicality, the knowledge has been lost in a practical side, but still sits within the RNA of the matter. At the same time, part of the DNA cell chain is for this purpose. Every arm of what we call DNA carries replication process information within its structure. But it does not sit in the sequence that most of the scientists in what we call DNA, what we call technology, have taught about it. One of the most important parts of the DNA of the man is understanding the parallel RNA and how the sequence of the two sits within each other in consequence and in interaction of the creator, creation of the soul of every arm of the DNA and RNA. What does this mean? It's very simple. In the process of what we see, for example, an arm of DNA and sitting with it with arm of RNA, which are mainly the same, we see sequences, very simple, that we understand the information and we see the sequences which is now allocated to certain work. But what in fact most of the scientists in the world of DNA have not understood that when you look at every DNA, every arm of DNA, every combination of DNA, they are all amino acid based. So what it means is the plasma gravitational magnetic field of this has to be considered in respect to this, in respect to this, and the interaction of these fields with each other. At the moment, the scientists only consider sequential numbers and series of the amino acids. But as they don't understand the work of the plasma, that DNA works with the plasmatic condition, they have not learned to, or they do not understand that the gravitational magnetic field of these and their interaction with each other has a direct effect in how the body of the man works. And each one of these creates its own emotion. When you have number 1 and number 5 interacting, creates a different emotion in a creation. And then in that emotion, that field strength creates what we call defects. They only look at the space gap of the set. They don't look at the plasmatic condition that these sets in interaction with each other and even with the other arms of RNA and DNA is created. This is why man still has a lot to learn in the process of understanding his own genetic code. Because our scientists at the moment are only involved with the physical dimension. They have not understood that what we call the amino acid of the body of the man is in the plasmatic condition, and it creates gravitational magnetic fields, which in a way interacts with everything else, and in interaction, it has different reactions and the conditions. If the scientists of what we call genetic understand this, they will find out by adding or creating a slight field differences in certain points, they can correct most of the genetic defects in the human race. Because then they don't deal with proteins and amino acids, but they will deal with the space gap positioning that allows what is short to be added or deformities to be positioned. In a way, they are still working with mortar and bricks, but they don't understand there is a magnetic field gap spacing due to the position and the construction of the body of the man, which is in a vacuum, which is in a magnetic plasmatic field condition. This is why we see so much defects in the human race, because these space gaps in the interaction will create different fields in respect to each other. And this is why we have the condition of today and all the mayhem we have in the world of genetics and replication of different cells and different bodies of the man, as each one interacts in a different way with the same and neighboring cells. The present scientists only look at the observation of what they think is the absolute matter state, and they have not understood the Ganser state. But on the other hand, what is important to all this together is the fact that even you have different strand and different combination of DNA on the arms that create their own structure, all these have in interaction with each other not only create a field direction, but they carry emotional interaction with each other too. The emotion of the man, when it's transferred through the body of the man, through the blood, through the physical, what we call soul, with the soul of the man, carries the emotion of every part of the DNA, which is collectively has been reported. This is how we get what we call evolution of genes. Because this emotion through the what we call DNA, once is set up to work, it will work not only through DNA, but it becomes part of the information line of what we call the RNA, which is permanent recording without the material. So we see that the emotion even sits within the structure of the basic blocks of life within the structure of the body of the man. This is part which has been ignored, but in so many ways in the science of the what we call physiology of the man cannot be ignored if you work in the true dimensions of the plasma and plasmatic conditions within the structure of the man and in the environment of the structure of the man and within the universe of the structure of the man. In the future teachings, one day we might explain that how you can even interact with these remotely from outside. We can change genetic defects if we develop the technologies which measures the magnetic field of every genetic coding and then slightly change it to be the right place for the others to move in a correct position and rectify and repair the what we call genetic damage. Even if the child is in 20s and 30s, born with a total handicap, if the genes could be reached in this manner, gradually the life will go to normality for the defect. These kind of technologies is what you will see in the coming time out of the University of Iraq. We will teach this in a rapid way upon our return. That we start creating a perfect man, not only in the dimension of the soul, but in the dimension of physicality. When the man leaves this planet, will leave as a smart, educated about his own life and about the universe, but will leave as a perfect man in a physical and soul condition. There cannot be anything but this. Otherwise, man will become a subordinate as the others can see the weaknesses in the structure of the man. A man cannot be weak. We are not sending farmers in the capital cities with the donkeys and a saddlebag. In so many ways, the knowledge of the science of man, the knowledge of the science of the creation of life in the universe is explained in this little sketch. You change each one to a man, you change each one to a cell, you change each one to a universe, still perfectly matched in working. It's the same as the sun and the earth and creation of matter, like the soul and soul of physicality and the emotion and interaction of their fields to create what we call physical reaction. What has happened in the science of the man is the lack of his understanding of the truth about the creation of physicality of himself. That is not in the matter state, but is in the plasma state. Just because you can chew the meat does not mean that the meat is a matter state. And this is where the man's confusion has come mainly from. But the essential point to understand and to be able to what we call educate the mankind on this subject is for mankind as a whole to understand the truth about his own creation, the positioning of the soul, the interaction with the heart of the man, the interaction of the blood which flows within the vein of the body of the man that creates the soul of physicality, and at the same time creating in interaction with the soul of the man the emotion, or what we call the plasma of the emotion of the man, or the soul of the plasma of emotion. But to what extent the knowledge seekers will develop this understanding is entirely upon their own understanding of the totality. And how we teach and how we understand the subjects of the creation and the creator. In so many ways, the interaction of the soul of the man with the interaction of the soul of the creator must be creating some material somewhere, like the plasma of the hydrogen and oxygen, and in interaction with the soul of the man creates that star. There cannot be any difference than what is the truth and what we see in the world of the creation. It depends on what you have gathered in that soul. That interaction with the soul of the creator, would it create the Saturn, or would it create the Earth, or would it be Mars? In so many ways, as we carry the essence of the soul of the created, we only interact with the creator. And in that process, the plasma of the interaction of the gravitational fields of the man and the magnetical field of the soul of the man with the soul, and gravitational fields and magnetical field of the creator creates a new dimension in the space and in the creator interaction world of creation. Which means our soul on its departure, when it leaves the dimension of the physicality in interaction with the soul of the creator, will create that friction of the plasma of the hydrogen and oxygen and gold, but that will become a new universe, that will become a new galaxy, that will become a new planet. Depends how much and how strong we have created the soul of the man before his departure from the dimension of his physicality. What have we gathered in that we go out? The life of the man is nothing but the same as the planet Earth. The field comes in, the field goes out. And what's within dictates how stronger it goes out. As we say, the North Pole has a higher strength than what we see, less snow on it, compared to the South Pole, that the higher order are less up, but the lower order are more up. And this is the plasma of the cycle of the life of the man, be it 10 days, 10 years, or 10,000 years. The cycle of the life of the man is to collect this plasma. And the strength of what we collect from interaction with the other souls which we serve will dictate in the interaction with the soul of the creator what shall be created of the soul of the man. And that is the creation of a dust, or the creation of the universe. The interaction of the gravitational field of the creator and the magnetical will lead to creation. When you have nothing, when you have created nothing within the soul of the man to feed it, what do you expect this dust to be? Or have you gathered enough? Have you managed to serve the totality in such a way that you need the creation of a universe? That many dusts will lead to become galaxies in the solar system within the structure of the soul of the man's interaction with the soul of the creator. I have made the man in the image of myself, that with it I can interact, and in interacting I create what you call different cycles of life across my universe. Now we understand. Would you like to be the soul of the cell and the body of the man, or would you like to be the soul of the universe? This is the whole purpose of the teaching. That mankind understand the process of the creation in respect to itself and what is going to be of a soul when it leaves this physical body of the man and becomes a free soul. And the only interaction with the soul of the creator, because it was made from and goes back to, would you like to be a beautiful planet like Earth in this structure, or would you like to be a deserted planet, or a moon, or a dust in the speck of the atmospheric condition of the unique house between the creator and the soul of the man? If human race understand this, he will do nothing but to serve and to share. As he knows, the more he shares with his creator, the better chance to create a variety of dimensions of the fields, which creates the collective essence of the creation of the creator. Now we understand why we come and why all this teaching has been about the soul and the spirit up to now for mankind, because that was the only kind of language man could understand. Now the knowledge seekers are knowledgeable and understand the totality of the creation. And this allows us to teach so rapidly to bring mankind in line with the rest of the universal community, which is a universe of the creator in the dimension of understanding to serve the others. When you become member of the universal community, this is not all honey and pots. It's serving beyond reservation of the understanding what man reserves within it. It's more servitude than, in a way, attitude. You serve, you give, and the more you have to give, the more powerful, the more beautiful creatures you create within the dimension of interaction of the soul of the man and the soul of the creator. Now we understand the truth about the creation and the creator, and why always has been said, I made man in the image of myself, because that's the only way I have a common denominator that I can interact with, and the interaction with the soul of the man, I can create new dimensions, new energies. Then maybe one of the most mysterious questions ever mankind has asked itself will be answered. Why do some children die at the point of birth? Is their soul mature that it leads to the creation of a new universe without being tinted with the present life of the man? Eating another life, destroying another life, having a plate of a variety of different elements on it, and still thinking, I live a perfect life. Is the soul what we call a fulfilled soul when it leaves at the point of departure from the womb of the mother? Or are we born to live a life to gather a balance of what we learn as a correct or misconduct, and how the soul of the man being born, let's say at 1,000 level, becomes to live at 200, because the rest has been lost in the process of the physical life of the man to misconduct. In so many ways, the soul of the emotion of the man is one of the most important parts of the creation and the created, where the interaction of the what we call elements of the what we call the soul of the man will create their own cycle of life. and shall never finish. I hope, my wish is that some of you understood the teaching in past half an hour, because if you have understood, you will grasp the what we call the statutes of man, which are just we put the cloth of man on and we leave them on the street. The teachings are becoming shorter and shorter, but with a lot of meaning and understanding. In so many ways, humanity needs to mature very fast about the truth about its own creation. No more. In the process of life, we are set to see through the eye of the soul of the man, and not through the eye of the physicality. In the earthly life, we use the sight and other senses. But you got to understand that there is still a sight in the dimension of the soul of the man and interaction of the soul of the man with his environment. And depending on the strength of the soul, we will understand the information transformation. How hard it will be for mankind to cross this line, time and history will tell. Would it take the mankind millions of years, thousands of years to understand and become part of the universal community? Or will understand and with a what we call small helping hand, he become part of. But then the man who gave you that power, now you owe him the knowledge. Today's teaching is very short, but extremely sweet, if you understood. Thank you very much for today. And I hope many of you have understood. And many of you soon will mature to the point of understanding the totality. Be aware of interaction of the what we call different conditions and different structures, what you or your masters give you to understand. It's you who has to have the capability to understand. Otherwise, you are force feeding a child who is not real and cannot understand the totality. If you're ready, Rick, we go for a break and we come back to answer some questions.
Okay, that sounds good, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much. So we'll be back in just a few minutes and carry on with part 2 of the 387th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Okay, welcome back everyone to the 387th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, July 1st, 2021. Mr. Kesh, are you ready to begin the second part of our workshop here today? Take some questions.
Yes, ready, willing, and able.
Okay, I thought we could start with the Q&A. I see we do have a hand up with Ruthie in the panelists, but there is a question that's relevant to your teaching today, and from Liko in the Q&A, who says, I would like to thank you, Mr. Kesh and Rick, for giving the gift of plasma to the world. It has changed my life for the better. My question is, what is the name of the amino acids formed in a GANS capture kit? He goes on to say, David Wilcox says the 20 base amino acids can be mapped out on a dodecahedron, if I pronounced that wrong. And I wanted to see what the name of the amino acids formed is so I can find them on that map. It's a geometric universe. So he's asking, what is the name of the amino acids formed in a GANS capture kit?
The amino acid you create on your capture kit depends on the material used, the way you choose your material, the salinity, the space gap, and the environment which you created. And these are fundamentally change every amino acid which you create. That's why not two amino acids are the same. You create an amino acid in a CO2 box, which is connected to the carbon and the oxygen, has a specific characteristics for its work. In the what you call CH3, you create an amino acid which is connected with the carbon and hydrogen. Then how you space it, how you connect it, how you choose your salinity, and combination of salinities creates totally different amino acid. Then you have the zinc and many other combinations for creation of gases. And then when you create a combination pot, then again has a different operation and characteristics. So you cannot say what kind of amino acids unless you have the whole lot of it on the plate. When you talk about what you talk is the amino acid which is created across interaction of all the elements within the body of the man. It's like in homeopathy, they tell you there are 12 different salts. But if you combine these 12 different salts in different way, there are millions of different combinations. As I said many times, if you take 7 numbers in a 49 case lottery, possibility of getting the next number is 14 million. That's why sometimes Lotto is won by 2 or 3 people. If a lottery is for 100 million and you can bet on every combination possible of 14 million, you guarantee that nobody else gets it, you win 86 million and you can confirm which combination to be. It's the same with the body of the man. Not only you have the amino acid, then you have the combination of the salts and salinity. So it's not an easy job. Then you can decide yourself in what you want and how you want it. One of the biggest problems in the world of science of today is the doctors do not look at the salinity of the organs of the body of the man. Then they can solve a lot of problems. Some organizations have looked at what we call the salinity of the skin, and they're very successful. And they became so successful that they've been taken over and they've been silent more or less in that department. A company called Santos. They broke through a team in the knowledge of understanding the salinity and the skin irritation and skin effects. And they became very successful in late 1990s, early 2000s. And immediately, as they were more or less curing everything and the doctors were not getting repetition, the doors of operation was shut down. They still operate, but anything they put out as a skincare works directly with the salinity, different salinity for different part of the body, and different skin and different textures. They became too good at it. But this technology has not been carried out by other organizations in finding out the salinity in different cells of the body of the man. You can change a cancer by changing salinity. You can change a cancer by changing pH. That pH is a salinity, but you have to find the right combination. And then the problem with it is not just so easy, because now you have to find the emotion behind that cancer. Because the soul of emotion has a lot of say how that salinity used and what will be the outcome. You have the salt, you have the plates. If you just connect the plates, you get the different combination of the gas. If you connect your plates to a small battery, you get different production, different gases, even it looks the same. And if you connect it to the high voltage, the right voltage, you just produce gases. At the bottom, they become so much that becomes solid, becomes cancer. Depends what energy you put from the soul of the man in that position of the salinity. And the world of science have not understood this yet. If the man says you give him 20, I tell you there's 20 billion trillions of them. It's not so easy. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think we should hear from Ruthie now.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello, everyone. It's beautiful teaching. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And now we understand, because I think before we say we are the creator, but we don't know how we create a world. But today you do said that how we create the world. So it's the same with what I had learned, but I don't understand at that time. It said like the whole world is being created just by thought. So I think how it could be, but now, yes, if you explain in this way, then I understand it is created by our soul. Yeah, that's so great to really understand that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Okay, we have a couple of hands up from Salamia and Jose. So I guess Salamia, go first. Can you find your microphone, Salamia?
Yes, I found it. Yes, thank you.
Good.
I have two questions. Hello, everybody. Hello, Rick, Mr. Keshe. Much love to you. What are the differences between PEMETIX, PEMEFE, and MAFS? And thanks you for your lovely teaching of today. It's a birthday of my mother, and I dedicate a poem to my mother, Mitra, and my mother. I sent it already to you, and thanks to you. And second question is related to RNA and DNA, if they are immortal, and if the soul of the emotion of plasma of emotion is a memory of the man, and if this carry our memories and all what can elevate our soul in order to create a new cycle of creation, as planets, as galaxy, sun, and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. For your first question, please read the book, number 1. It's all well explained in the plasmatic magnetic fields and the specific plasmatic magnetic fields. For your question number 2, it's the reality that in the body of the man, we see the reaction of the interaction of the field in physical response as electric current in the dimension of what we call physicality. The emotion which is created in the dimension of plasmatic field is what is shared and given or taken from the soul of the man or the soul of physicality to be added to that it makes the impression or to be taken away from. In a way, DNA is the connection of the transformation of the plasmatic field's information to the physical body of the man within the cell structure of the brain of the man, where the RNA is the field, it's like the gravity, but the brain is the mass of the earth. Is a magnetic, depends what it takes and what it gives and what converts. And what it gives, or we add to the dimension of the soul of the man, or we take from the soul of the man. In so many ways, we have to understand what is the link to the dimension of physicality, confirmation and transformation of the energy and emotion. And the other one is a connection to the soul. And they all carry the same information as a base and what is added or changed. It's very simple, but the two, even though are connected, they are intermediary between the dimension of the plasma and the physicality, and the other one is a connection between the fields of the plasma between the two souls, and in a way keeping up to date and in line with what is needed to be to manifest the physicality. Any other question?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you.
Okay, perhaps we can hear from Jose now. Hello, Jose. Can you unmute your microphone, or did you deliberately put your hand up? Might be a first question. Okay, I'm asking to unmute, but it's not working, so we may have to temporarily pass on that one. Okay, we'll go back to the Q&A here. From Antonio, it says, "Dear Mr. Keshe, with heart problems, will this plasma technology regenerate a new heart or create a separate heart?"
It can do a combination. If you take it out and it can hold on the operation of the field of the body of the man, in time it will create the heart. And if you want to repair a heart, you can do it easier by that too. If you get a bullet shot through the heart and explode it to pieces, repair is impossible. It is better to take it out and let the physicality of the man in conjunction with its inertial gravitational field of the position and interaction of the field of the soul of emotion to build a new heart. Take a little bit longer, but it works. The scientists are on this track. There's a lot of work is going on this, but they don't understand. They need to move in a mold of plasma and a magnetic field to be able to solve the dilemmas of present time in heart operations. Any other question?
You have a question from Ram in the YouTube, who is asking, will the perfect man have eternal life on Earth and the universe?
I can answer it in two ways. The easiest way is, what do you think? And secondly is, eternal in the essence of the Creator, as we are all part of it, it is eternal. But would it be that individual soul that'll have eternal life? No soul has eternal life except the soul of the Creator, which has created the totality. So don't expect much. You got to realize, as I said many times, 1,000 years life of the man is a flick of a finger in the life of the universe. How long do you think you can get that flick going? And how many times? The only problem is, what's the greed of the man who wants to live so long and be ever there to see what to do? He gets bored. The universe has the same habits and things are moving in the same direction and dimension. You go from one universe to another, you see it's slightly different. You want to be a soul sightseer, then plan it from day one. There is a very big question for a lot of you. If you find the answer to it, you might find the key to life. If you're asking to have eternal life, knowing that the Creator put so much out to create all the universes, do you think His life is eternal? And if it is, where does it come from? Any other question?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. In the Q&A from Ed, we have three. He says, I have three questions. One, you indicated we need to be perfect physically and in soul when we leave this earth because others will be able to see our weakness. Does this imply they would take advantage? You have before expressed that the universe is a peaceful place.
Can you repeat that again?
Okay. Try to get the rhythm here. You indicated we need to be perfect physically and in soul when we leave this earth because others will be able to see our weaknesses. Does this imply that they would take advantage of us? You have expressed that the universe is a peaceful place.
Nobody will take advantage of you. That's the biggest worry of the man. Man is always worried that they're taking something from him or he's losing to somebody because they know. But he doesn't understand that it's him who's stealing from himself. Nobody needs to steal from the man. Is the biggest stealer from himself. If people of the universe were going to use man's shortcoming and his stupidity to steal from it, they would have done it millions of years ago. They didn't have to wait till now. And those who keep on talking, the aliens going to do this, boys, they've been here long before you lot. They haven't taken anything, they won't take it. You know, when you go on a biology trip, they take you to rivers and beaches or whatever, or what they call a field work. You cannot touch anything, take anything. You're just there to observe and put it back where you took it from. Be it the shell, be it the stone, be it the fish. It's the same principle in the universe. We don't collect souvenirs and we don't interfere. And if you were going to use the man as what we call weakness in knowledge and stupidity, it would have been done a long time ago. They didn't wait for you now that you understand the level. They would have stolen from the caveman. These people who come up, these notions shows they have never understood the process of life. Any other question?
Ed has two more questions. Number two is, you talked this morning about a soul that comes into existence at, let's say, 1000 level, but loses strength to 200 because of misbehavior. Why would a soul allow this to happen?
Physicality does it, and soul has to top it up. As much as it takes, he has to give its response for it. It's as simple as that. Before we take another question, do we have anybody from the Romanian community regarding the conference in Bucharest who you want to speak or anything? The conference is moved to 17 and 18 of July, 2 days. And it'll be held in the city of Bucharest. Do we have anybody from Romanian community who wants to tell us anything where people can book if they want to come, and the rest of it, please?
If there is, you can put your hand up so we can recognize you here. Perhaps put something in the chat.
No problem. Give them a chance if they want to come in to tell us something.
Perhaps somebody listening will come into the chat here and let us know. So we have a couple of emotional questions, Mr. Keshe.
Do we need tissue papers or handkerchief?
Ed's third question is the main focus of our development truly emotional in nature? And Fried has a question, where do our thoughts come from? How do they create our reality? meaning what we
That we
accept
asked
as
last
truth.
week.
So he just, what then is the connection to emotions?
Everything to do with it. What was the first question?
Is the main focus of our development truly emotional in nature?
More or less. In a way, partially, yes. And what was the second question?
About the where do our thoughts come from? How do they create our reality? Meaning what we accept as truth. So what then is the connection to emotions?
It's partially from the interaction of the fields and conversion of the emotion to physical. In the world of medicine, we have a part where we call a motoric, that how we use our fingers into what precision, and we see babies building it up if they crack or something. But there's the same sense of, if you call it motoric, I'll call it solic, which means the interaction of the souls. What gives you how fine-tuned you can work with yourself. And this cannot be taught. This is something we are born with and we inherited with us from at the point of birth.
Mr. Kesh, we have Barbu who's volunteering to promote the Bucharest conference, since Marius is not here right now.
I think Marius was hoping to be on the TV channel, which is not there. Yes, please, let him speak, please.
Go ahead, Barbu.
Thank you, Rick. Hello, Mr. Kesh. Hello, everyone. I am one of the organizers of the big conference in Bucharest. We announce this daily in Romania from now. Is in the weekend in Bucharest. I can tell Mr. Kesh about the location.
So you have to do your own security check, because this is done by you and not by us.
Okay, for us is very good to announce the location, because in Romania also we announce from today. And the location is Hotel Radisson Blu, is a 5-star hotel with capacity close to 200 people per day. We don't have in us 1/7 and 1/8 July. We start from of course from the morning, and we invite all the knowledge seekers from around the world in Romania. We have a good relaxation corona situation. We are in the green list of corona in Europe. If you came from other green country, it's very easy to take the border with no restriction. We don't have any restriction in Bucharest to use the mask. We use the mask only in the conference. This is the situation, and also with the distance between the chairs. If you want to participate, the price for per day is very cheap. Last year was 600 euro, but this year for 2 days of conference is 80 euros. We have also limited seats for participations, and if anyone wants to enjoy a short weekend in the scientific way, we just expect you to contact us at contact@keshromania.ro. This is the email, or just use the representative KF Romania chat. use all the knowledge seeker from Romania that they know to make the contact with us. We are here to solve the situation with accommodation. It's very cheap to stay 2 weeks in 2 days in Romania. We can solve accommodation for 20 euro per night for each person. And also we are glad to announce the participation of Bulgaria and Russian and Moldovan communities. And for all the details, please contact us because we have limited place in the location, and we want to offer you the best condition. We want to announce all the conference is available only for the person who are in the room. We record the scientific conference, and parts of these sections of the presentation we are set up to be available in the KFTV Romania channel or also in the KFTV Live. And we announce we have a good participation from Romanian Academy for government, for scientific person. Is a big interest in Romania. We don't have seats for all the people who wants to came and to stay in the front of this big information. And we think we can solve everything if you contact very fast our knowledge seeker from Romania. Marius Paraschiv, if you know, is one of the organizer. I am the one of the organizer, and we can solve everything very fast for you if you want to visit in July the Bucharest. I think we have 2 days of conference. We present many things. We don't have time to present what innovation we have, what research project we have, what development we prepare for space technology in Romania. But please contact us. It's very interesting, this conference, and is opportunity to meet with Mr. Cash in the conference. We set up very transparent with our community. We set up all the details. We have investors. We have. We hope the government to be interested about this technology, and we see what we have after the conference, what the results we have after the conference. We announce in our study group and in our media this conference, and we'll see what's happened in the next weeks. If you have some questions, I am here to answer. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Can you clarify if you need the COVID test for the conference, or do we need immunization? What is the situation?
This is a good news for us because last day in Bucharest, we don't have any COVID test, any person who have positive test. And also with new restriction for July, we don't need any test. You need only the mask.
So we don't need to have the test to enter Romania altogether.
Yes, we don't need. We are in the green position with Russia, with Bulgaria, with Moldavia. Also in the conference, we don't need any test.
Okay, that's a fantastic news. First time we're going back to normality, except the level of mask. Thank you very much. Can you put up the email address where they have to contact, please, and we announce it? Because it's a little bit confusing.
Yes, we can put the number. Also, we put in the chat, and Rick can send all the information. We put in the chat. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your work. We'll be with you the 2 days of the conference. As usual, as you know, when we attend public conferences, we know what is happening in the background. Keshe Foundation management moves with high security defense. Those of you who plan, we've seen it in Bulgaria before, be aware we attend with armed officers in a meeting with full close protection. This is for those who plan to do what we call mischievous things we've seen in Bulgaria before and in a couple of other conferences. We inform you in advance. When Keshe Foundation management team appears, we appear fully armed officers present in all conferences. Any other question?
Okay, just a second here. LeakOS, is plasma a conscious entity?
Yes, because it positions itself, it interacts itself. Conscious is feel the strength of it, that it positions itself according to its environmental fields. This is how life in any position in the universe starts. When plasmas try to accommodate each other and the environment creates that condition of accommodation. You have an oxygen and a carbon and a nitrogen, and now you have the what we call oxygen as a gravitational, which creates the condition of holding two other three together with the environmental condition, which is the water itself, which is another link between the water and what we call amino acid. And then it's a sense of accommodating and balancing. And this is the part of the structure. It's fully conscious. In a way, it's not conscious, but as it accommodates, it has to position itself. We call it consciousness, but we call it in world of physics, Magna position. And when environment dictates, you have to be born in a water condition with such a salinity, with such a combination of so many of the amino acids, then of course it's consciousness.
So what would be the difference between, say, a magnet that maintains its position with another magnet and the type of positioning that you're talking about with the plasmatic fields as a conscious entity? Or would you consider the magnets as conscious entities, or
in a way
they
are, but they have a mass related inertial connection according to the planetary field interaction. In the body of the man is different. It's a plasma mass, what we call inertia, which is a loose combination of the fields interaction with inertia of the soul of the man, with inertia of the soul of the physicality of the man. Then the body is created. It's very important for us, we keep on repeating this over years. The body of the man is a closed galaxy. It's a self-contained vacuum system with its own vacuum condition and its own what we call cycle. Doesn't matter, you put a knife in it, you open it, whatever you do with it, but still immediately creates that space gap vacuum condition. So the body of the man is another what we call planet on this planet. The inertia of the earth has limited say in its structure because it's inside itself, it does what it likes. You don't see if the inertia is spread too much, part of your liver jumping out or part of your kidney jumping out. So this is what we have to have in mind and understand. It's a self-contained operating system, and with it has its own self-contained emotional system. And when all of it decides emotion to be what, man reacts, laughs, cries, runs, or what.
Well, you've mentioned even the stone has a soul. So we could think of a magnet as a stone, basically. It's what it is. It's ground up earth and certain elements. So it would have its own realm where its soul operates, you could say. But that's different than the consciousness of the human connection, the human, between the human soul and the soul of the man, or the soul of physicality and the soul of the man. That emotional connection is the part of what makes a conscious entity.
Anything you mention has a magnetic field strength, conscious, rootlessness, joy, happiness. You just need to find that strength. Then you can make a man always happy. Why do you see, when I see a certain flower, it makes me happy? Because that flower has a preset mind and magnetic field strength which matches my happiness dimension. So I see anywhere this flower, I'm happy. It makes me joyful. Or could be another human being, could be an animal, could be anything.
Okay, Antonio says in the chat, my heart needs repairing, but according to you, the emotional factor needs to be addressed.
Yes, we can repair the tire, but you haven't fixed the brake. We can keep on repairing the door and the handle, you crash against the wall here and there, but you forgot to change the brake. That brake is an emotion. Fix it. You find out many of these problems will go. You can do certain things with it. There are certain ways you can handle it. We know how to do certain things, but we don't go public with it, as I mentioned even in the teaching of Jalal last night. It was very interesting. I went to Jalal's teaching to be a student. He escaped to sleep. Then he left me there. Next time I won't go to his classes.
It's a secret technique. He does that in the plasma group sometimes too. He goes in and launches something off and then disappears.
Yeah,
that's why we call him Jump In Jalal. He jumps in and delivers something and jumps out again.
They put in every channel that this Jalal's teaching, so I went in, and then as long as nobody knew, it was okay. And then when he found out, he disappeared. He went. I was left there. I went to become a student, a knowledge seeker. He teaches very nice, actually. I was there for a couple of hours in his teaching, I think, or whatever it was. And when he realized a couple of questions, he left. So we have to come in anonymous. Nobody knows who we are. But it was a nice teaching. It was the first time I went to one of his teaching. It's very, very, very down to earth.
Yeah, a lot of people enjoy Jalal's teachings for sure.
Yeah.
So Barbu wants to remind people that the email address for the ticket information for the Romanian conference is contact@keshromania.ro. So contact@kesh, that's the @ keshromania.ro. Pretty simple. people can remember that. I'll put it in the other chats as well, so we have it available. And Antonio asks, Mr. Kesh, with the plasma cups, if you have one pressure and one sweet cup, is it important to drink them at separate times? Can they be drunk one after the other?
Yes. And you have to drink only 30 ml. Very important. We know people who are drinking cups of it and then they go haywire with it. 30 ml each time is the maximum amount you can drink. The cups are there for inhaling and body use. Only. It's and dosages for these things has to be a small dosages. We will introduce new technologies once things move on the television channel, where we'll introduce new methods of use of gases. It's been tested, experimented, and the results are very, very encouraging.
Okay, we have
there is something I have to explain. The air enhancement units are finally, after a lot of modification for maximum test results, shipped out sometime this week, maybe today, tomorrow, some, and in the next week for sure. When you receive it, you receive a white disc with it. Make sure you put the white disc facing the unit wherever you put it. The nozzle of the airflow has to face the disc which you are given, that it creates a current flow. And this is one of the reasons we delayed, because the air enhancement units were to be used for the purpose of enhancing the air. But we have found out with adding this unit to it, increases the work and enhancing the air condition for negative oxygen levels in a very high level, especially in the mornings. And so when you receive this new enhancement unit, now that what we call second part has been completed, it will what we call create a beautiful condition. All the ones which are sold, and more is coming through, which is orders have come in, will be start shipping, because we had to do this. So we originally foresaw 2 units facing each other, but this was a more practical way. And once you receive them, you will see the change, you feel the change. And so you will see those. And the same is with the glasses to start leaving this week, because we had to go through all the what we call rigmarole of getting these things finally moved, tested and whatever. And please, with your glasses, there is a report sheet. Please fill it in, send it back, as is. These are put out as a kit test for you to be the volunteers to use it, and it'll be interesting to see the outcome, as we've seen with the cups. With the cups, people start drinking cups and cups of it, and they had a interesting outcome from it, some people, but the maximum what you call usage is 30 ml. Any other question?
We have a question that's come up before. I don't know if we want to get into it right now, but I'll pose it anyway here from Geraldo Ramirez from Madrid, Spain, a student of the foundation. He says the latest research in nanotechnology materials, and specifically so-called graphene, one of these investigations is the so-called reduced graphene oxide, which in conjunction with hydrogen in a biological organism becomes magnetic. So he goes on to say, as all research will have its positive but also negative applications, my question is, does the foundation with the wonderful science of plasma have some plasma configuration that defends humanity from this danger? Thank you so much. Have you heard much or know anything about this reduced graphene oxide, Mr. Kesh?
No.
I think people are referring to that in terms of the vaccines and so on, that people are worried that it's in the vaccines and it gets in the body and becomes magnetic. And then we have all these videos showing up with people sticking things to their body, which videos like that, note that have showed up before even COVID and that before vaccines, that there's people that have gone around and
maybe you have too high content of iron in your body.
Well, the debunkers found out they have something sticky on their body that they put on that allowed the things to stick to them that looked like it was magnetic. So I'm not sure how much of that is true and how much of it isn't.
Yeah, I think we better keep away from this.
Probably.
Situation.
Yeah, it's bordering on the medical misinformation area of YouTube.
Yeah, there's a new, what I call the top is called it Delta version of the, what's it, the new name has come out with the Corona. Now they finished with the countries, now they started with alphabet.
Yeah, that's right.
They're supposed to be more dangerous than other. I think in time, if we learn and follow the process of the Keshe Foundation work, we'll see a lot of understanding that doesn't matter what it is, the understanding of the technology should help you with any kind of virus in any position in the universe. Depends if you want to be the orange or you want to be the cup of water. Or if you are the orange or you're the cup. The vastness of the, what I call, varieties of what we call viruses is so huge in the space that when I listen to these things, it just makes me laugh. But at the moment, they're riding on the ignorance of people. You heard about the new joke. They said, do you know why Bill Gates is split? They said because Billy didn't accept the second shot. Do you understand? Rick, are you there?
I'm not sure if I quite got that or not.
Well, it was good as long as his wife had a second shot.
Oh, I see.
He wouldn't accept the second shot. So there must be something in it.
Right, exactly.
Okay, any other question?
Liko had asked, how do you use the dried GANs you sell in the Keshe store?
You look at it, it's dry, it looks very nice. But why did you buy it for? What purpose? We've seen the Romanians are adding it to paints and they're showing how to use it for a paintbrush, I've seen. You can use it in all sorts of conditions. The only thing is you cannot eat it. And what combination of it, for what purpose you want to mix to create what. You have to understand your purpose why you're buying it. You want to use it as a field diffuser, you want to use it as a paint diffuser, you want to use it as a part of the cups structure. You can use a dry GANs the same as you use a wet GANs if you want to use its water. But with the dry GANs, you hardly lose any. But with the wet GANs, the GANs is not in the water, you have more dynamism, so the energy losses are much higher to the environment. We dry GANs is for specific cases when Keshe Foundation carries hundreds of kilos of it. In our new plants, we deliberately go for drying GANs for uses which we want to use for.
Mr. Keshe, we have a question in the YouTube. Maybe you can help with. There's a person, Carl, who's had an experience where he cut himself deeply, and he lost consciousness, and he woke up with his pineal gland burning and hurting. Since then, he feels differently. His feelings have changed, his body also, and the doctors don't know what to do because they don't have anything listed in their books about medication for such an event, basically. And he says, I thought I was dead when I woke up. I remember I'd lost a lot of blood, and they didn't give me any medication. They didn't know what it could be, and so on. So he's wondering if there's any solution to this uneasiness he's been feeling since. He doesn't feel like he's really in his body. So it's as if he didn't quite fully come back to the body or something. That's my interpretation. I'm wondering if you, aside from, I'm not asking for a medical evaluation, but just from a spiritual point of view, do you think there's something that you could say?
In a way, from soul point of view, you can do something. Mankind has to do this in space. When you cut an arm, or lose an arm, or any configuration of arms you might have, or legs you might have at a given point, it will most probably affect your emotion as much as physics. It is within our structure of our DNA from the time of birth to regenerate new organs, new parts. But we have decided to ignore it, and part of it is done through emotion. As we explained, the emotion of the brain in interaction of the fields of the physical soul and the soul of the man creates a field that, in interaction with the inertia of the mass of what we call the body of the man, leads to creation of cells in that position. But there are ways to do it. And there are specific ways that you can do. Be the gland you can repair, be the organ you can repair, being a cut you can repair.
Well, many people are concerned about their pineal gland calcifying and that kind of thing. Is there any general advice for maintenance of the pineal gland or other glands in the brain area?
We see a lot of these at the moment on the internet. We prefer not to get involved in this discussion, because according to latest studies, which is published, I heard about the past couple of days, is that they have found the effects of these injections in every organ of the man. It's not just pineal gland. In every organ, they have found the traces of the vaccinalization.
Yeah, a lot of the people with the pineal gland, it's not necessarily related to vaccines directly. It could be other aspects of life, foods, different things. Yeah.
As I said, we're not going to get penalized for pineal questions.
Okay.
But now we have structured the Keshe TV. Hopefully soon we'll release the press releases for the news section, another part. We'll be able to openly discuss this as a television channel. We have set our structure to be that way. And we will structure to have open discussions. People can discuss. And it'll bring a different dimensions to all the structure we set up. Many knowledge seekers in the background are working to create these conditions for the interviews and bringing scientists to do it. Then we can officially explain things to what we do, how we do it. But the moment we're in the hand of these organizations, which, as they say, silence is a wisdom. Any other question? Anything else?
We had a question from Francine in the Q&A. Where can I find Jalal's teachings? And I answered in the KFSSI private student teachings, which are available to all the registered Keshe Foundation students, KFSSI students. And you can apply for that at the Keshe website or the KFSSI website.
He's a very good teacher. Is he around, or has he decided not to be around today? Do we see him?
I don't see him in our list of attendees right now. Oh, yes, there he is. He has his hand up. That's why he's at the top. I was looking at his. Go ahead, Jalal.
Do you think I missed the teaching of Mr. Keshe?
Hi, Jalal.
Hi, Mr. Keshe.
You had a beautiful teaching last night. It was very nice. How you simplified the knowledge.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you accuse me that I left you and run away.
Yeah, you left me high and dry with a baby in my hand. Couldn't do much, but it was nice.
You know, Mr. Keshe, we are normally until 12:30 and we finished, but because you came and we extended a little bit, I cannot give anymore. I need to sleep because I have.
I know, but it was nice. No, the way you disappeared was very good.
But really, I went so quick to the bed, and then I checked if you are still there teaching, and I laughed. I said, "Okay."
I'm still there.
Yeah.
No, it's a nice teaching. No, because you posted it everywhere, so we came in, and it was nice. It's the first time I came to your teaching.
I hope it's not the last.
If I come regularly, then there'll be no teaching. I better stay out. But it's, as I said before, we attend many of the teachings. We go in what we call, try to be part of. It's not easy, but it's nice to see and understand how the knowledge is getting explained in different understanding and expand up the knowledge. It's very nice. But next time I come in, I make sure I leave before 12 o'clock.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. At least you're welcome anytime you come.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gas.
Thank you very much.
Now you know what you done. Now every Wednesday we will have a lot of knowledge seekers who will join.
That's good.
That's good. Yes.
We try to expand the teaching in different ways, but we are part of a structure which we take our time to understand gradually the whole new dimensions which the Keshe Foundation has chosen and is taken. The new centers around the world is taking shape in a beautiful way. And as I said, Mexico, the new center in China, what is going to look in next 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, once they finish what we call the decoration and setting up of the offices. It's extremely prestigious, and it befits an organization like this. Any other questions?
We did have a question from Antonio, who asked for agriculture. Can the dry GANs be used in containers near pipelines, the water pipelines, apparently?
Yes. No reason why not.
Okay. Akbar says, please tell us about that tablet. Not sure which tablet he means, but is there a tablet that you mentioned, Mr. Keshe?
I don't know. Maybe they're after the tablet of youth. Not for sale yet.
Okay, and I think you've pretty much covered the questions here, Mr. Keshe.
Right. Thank you very much for today. I hope we learned a little bit more and in a much deeper way that it can help us to move on and expand the knowledge. And hopefully, as we said, we'll see you soon in conferences, or as the whole thing is going back to normality in the exhibition centers and different factories of the Keshe Foundation around the world. Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you very much, the whole team in the background. And maybe next week or the week after we go back to live on television once this problem internally in Austria is sorted with the problem with communication. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Okay, thank you once again, Mr. Keshe, for a wonderful teaching here today. And thank you everyone for attending today's 387th Knowledge Seekers Workshop on July 1st, 2021. see, we've got the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace coming up on Tuesday. I'm just getting my calendar up here. That'll be Tuesday, July 6th, 2021. So people are welcome to attend that with the Universal Council. And that's at the same Zoom number as the one we're at today. Okay, I'll play the ending advertisements to end today's show. And we'll see you all next week at the same time and place. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.
Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural balanced energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system. hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centres. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information. Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. KesheFoundation.org/donate